That it is now 10 minutes past 7 p.m. and this meeting is called to order. Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Mayor Joseph,
Here.
Councilman Galvin,
Here.
Vice Mayor Keys, Councilman Bieneme,
Here.
Councilwoman Steril. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance with Commander Blanchard from the North Miami PD.
If everybody could please place the flag, put your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll proceed with invocation. We have a very distinguished guest among us from Chicago, Illinois. She is a prophetess whom I met for the first time on last Sunday, this past Sunday. I was very edified when I was listening to her preach and prophesize the other day. And I am honored to call Prophetess Monique Hobbs from Kingdom Embassy Ministries of Chicago, Illinois, to please lead us in invocation.
Amen. If everyone could stand, bow your heads. Most gracious God, we thank you for this day, for this is the day that you have made, and we ought to rejoice and be glad in it. Father, we thank you for you are a good God, you are a merciful God. Father, as we commune together in this community meeting, we pray in the mighty name of Jesus that your presence abide here. Father, we bless the mayor of this city, we bless his council, we bless his family. And Father, we thank you, O God, for doors opening up in this city. We thank you, O God, for jobs being placed in this city. We thank you, God, for what you're doing through this leadership team. We bless them from the crown of their head down to the soles of their feet. They are blessed. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. We may be seated. Mr. Manager, do we have any additions or deletions?
Yes. Mayor, item 9B as in boy, dot 2, which is 2 ordinances dealing with the city's pension and the police pension. Tab I and tab J is an addition. Tab E, there's a clarification. The title that appears in the Sunday Miami Herald, there's a correction, and when that item comes up, I'll read the correction.
Mr. Mayor, I'd move that tabs I and J be, oh, no, I apologize, the ordinances.
Which one?
Never mind, they're ordinances.
The ordinances, yeah.
I was going to move them under the consent agenda, but once I realized they're ordinances by title, I
Yeah. And
catched
it's,
myself.
well, it's because of IRS ruling, we have to do it like this. Tab E.
Before we move forward, I want to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Neil Reisner. He's an associate professor at FIU, Department of Journalism and Broadcasting. I've been aware that he's accompanied by a group of students. If they could please stand and be recognized. Mr. Reisner. Thank you. Now we have a few special presentations, and we're going to go down the whole council, please. Most of us know that the month of April has been dedicated for a National Fair Housing Month. Fair housing is something that's very dear to me, and as we know it, a lot of people, well, that you probably wouldn't even think of, are victim of the Fair Housing Acts. We've been discriminated sometimes and without even knowing it. So therefore, fair housing is a very important issue throughout the whole country, and we are standing here today to recognize a person from Hope Incorporated, that's been doing a wonderful job in our community. And for that, I will call Mr. Rob Collins, who will be coming forward and receive this certificate of recognition in honor of fair housing awareness. This recognition is presented to Hope for your continuous dedication in the city of North Miami, while you're ensuring that our residents are well informed of the fair housing opportunities. Your devotion and partnership is greatly appreciated, are greatly appreciated, and held at the highest regard. We wish you continued success. I said is because there is a grammatical error here, but it's supposed to be are. Are you going to take it like this, or do you want us to correct it? We'll fix it?
We're not picky.
I'll keep this one and we'll correct it for you.
That works. Thanks very much. Cool. Thank you very much.
How about all the guys on one side and the women on the other? I want to be on that side. I'm always on the women's side, right? That's why I married one. I'm on your side, right? The next award will be given by our chief. Is the chief here? Our chief of police, Mr. Lenny Burgess. You won the prize.
Thank you, Mayor. While we're coming up here, I'd like our command staff to come up here, particularly for this special individual. She is our employee of the quarter. And what we have here is a plaque for it, some information, and a little, some trinkets for her along the way. Pilar Diaz. And this is something, it's one of the City of North Miami's Employee Quarters Awards, and it's provided to all employees of City of North Miami. And we have a lot of outstanding employees throughout the city that work diligently throughout the year, particularly professionalism and the type of work they do at a high level. So it was a very tough competitiveness when we started putting people together and deciding which one actually is going to be the top one for this quarter. And we're proud to say throughout her chain of command, her commander here, along with the major and our command staff, Ms. Diaz is the face of code compliance. She welcomes and assists constituents when they come to the code compliance headquarters. She immediately stops what she is doing and readily assists them, no matter how hectic it may be in the office. Many times the code compliance officers, which the constituents have come to see, are in the field, and Ms. Diaz serves as liaison and provides them with the needed information. She resolves most issues with the residents so that the workload from the officer, supervisor, and other departments may be relieved. Many times they come back and thank Ms. Diaz for her assistance and guidance. Ms. Diaz assists with teaching new hirees and provides assistance to all the code, sanitation, and housing officers as needed. And she coordinates the hearing process for all code violations and ensures that each officer cases are ready to the special magistrate. Ms. Diaz keeps the office running. She ensures that all the administrative functions are completed so the officers can perform their jobs. She is responsible for all invoices and purchasing. She deals with a constant workload of administrative functions. Welcome to our world. And she is willing to assist the code officers in public as needed. Here I can do attitude is infectious, and she never backs down from a challenge. In closing, on behalf of the entire command staff in the city of North Miami and council and mayor, she has a very good technical skills, and we'd like to congratulate her as a true asset to the code compliance, but more important to the citizens of North Miami. Ms. Pilar Diaz. We'll let the mayor present the plaque. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, sir. This is a plaque that we would like to give to Ms. Diaz for being the Employee of the Quarter for winter 2015. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was loud. This is a plaque we would like to give to Ms. Diaz for being the Employee of the Quarter for winter 2015. I can personally attest to the hard work that she does every single day. I believe once it was said that next to every great man is a great woman, and Ms. Diaz keeps me looking good, keeps the major and the chief and everybody here looking good. She does so much work, you guys would not believe the amount of work that she gets accomplished. She's extremely organized. She has a great attitude, and she is a great employee for me. And I'm very happy to give you this award and tell you I appreciate everything you do, and thank you. And the money.
I think appearances. Mayor, appearance are here too if you want to. They're not? Okay. Can you bring them up? Good job for that. I know, she does.
A few months ago, there was a project for traffic studies throughout the city of North Miami in certain areas. I believe there is a staff. Is it a staff presentation or?
The consultant is going to do, well, staff is going to start off and the consultant is going to wrap up the presentation.
A very concise one, right?
Very concise.
Because I believe tonight is supposed to be.
Also, I'd like to recognize Joan Shen from Miami-Dade County Public Works Division of Traffic, the Traffic Division. She's, I really want to thank her for being here, and this is one of the reasons why we have this presentation actually at the beginning of the meeting.
Mr. Mayor, Council, John O'Brien, Transportation Planner. I just wanted to introduce our consultants who are going to be giving the presentation. As you all know, a lot of residents complain about speeding on their streets. We get a lot of people asking for traffic calming and to do other things for them. But we can't be putting speed humps everywhere. We have to try to look at things holistically, the city as a whole. So Councilwoman Bien-Aimé provided some funds to do a study to be able to look at reducing the speed on the city roads from 30 miles an hour to 25 miles per hour. Now, the county has full jurisdiction over traffic control devices, including the speed limit. So we prepared Kimley Horn prepared a study that looked at speeding all over the city and made recommendations. Let me just give a couple of quick advantages to the 25 miles per hour. One, it gives greater latitude for the police to issue tickets. So when someone's going 30 miles an hour in the neighborhood, they can now issue a ticket because the speed limit is 25. Also, as you'll soon see, some of the requirements that we have to meet for the county will be reduced because now the baseline speed limit is going to be 25 miles an hour instead of 30. So I'd like to introduce Greg Kyle from Kimley Horn, who will do a presentation, and they'll be available for questions. And also, take advantage, we have Dr. Shen here as well. She can answer some questions about how the county and the city can work together to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Greg Kyle. I'm with Kimley Horn, and I'm going to introduce Ravi with my firm, who is the project engineer who worked on this, who was the lead engineer on this study. And he'll go through the presentation, and then we'll both answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Greg. Mr. Mayor and the members of the council, I will just give a very brief overview. I understand that this technical document was part of your agenda. So the first slide, what you're seeing, does show the study area in general. And moving on, as Mr. John O'Brien mentioned, the study is going to be done in two phases. The phase one is including the assessment of the speed limits. That will be phase one, and to determine if the lowering of the speed from 30 to 25 miles is feasible. And then we move to the step two, which is to be done. That would be looking at the additional traffic calming strategies, for example, like speed humps, if those are needed on certain roadways, because lowering speed alone may not be sufficient to bring the traffic into a manageable levels that enhance the quality of life. A little bit about the technical background. As John mentioned, there's a certain processes you have to follow. The state has established certain guidelines that's mentioned in the Florida statute. Basically, a city has the authority to do a study, do an investigation to determine if the lowering of speed limit is feasible, and then need to, in this case, the city need to work with the Miami-Dade County to get the approval. You will briefly hear about a certain technical terms with the speed study, which is called the 85th percentile speed. What you see in this graph is an example. Is 85th percentile speed is the speed at which 85% of the traffic is traveling at or below. So that means only 15% of the traffic will be traveling over that limit. So that is used very often in the transportation profession when you do try to establish the speed limit analysis. And in so when you do the speed study, again, what is required is that to go down from 30 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour. When we did collect the speed data in 30 different roadways, so when the results come, the 85th percentile speed, if it is 28 miles per hour or lower, then you can lower the speed limit to 25 miles per hour without doing additional analysis. So that's a condition one. But if the speed, the 85th percentile speed is between 29 to 33, which is a little bit higher, then you have to do additional investigation. So kind of like the process. Based on our analysis, what you see in this slide is a summary. Out of the 28 roadway segments we looked at, 11 of them do meet the first condition, meaning you can lower the speed without doing additional studies. And then 13 other roadway segments do fall into the second category, which I mentioned. And then there were 4 other streets where you had to do additional traffic calming, which will be the phase 2 study to bring those the speeds to a level that is eligible for lowering of the speed limit. The city did forward the study findings to the county, and Ms. John Shane and her staff evaluated it and then came back with a recommendation. So what you see in this map is that the areas that are highlighted in yellow are the areas that they failed at this point based on the information was provided that could be considered for lowering of the speed. So that's the county's recommendation for the city to consider. So it includes the area to the east of Biscayne Boulevard, such as Keystone and the San Souci, and then also a portion of within the central part of the city. Just want to give a very brief overview when the study goes into the phase 2, which is looking at the traffic calming measures, such as the speed humps, which you have already implemented in several places, or it could be traffic circles or numerous other methods. There, the county also has established certain procedures that you need to follow to be eligible. You have to look at what the traffic volumes, the speeds, safety issues, and also the amount of cut-through traffic. So you have to do the further evaluation to decide if those streets are eligible for traffic calming measures. At the request of the city, we did look at the traffic calming measures on 2 streets within the Keystone Point area, the residential area. So the 2 streets are Keystone Boulevard and the North Bayshore Drive, which interconnect on, of course, there's a complaint received sometimes during the day, especially when the traffic is busy. Certain traffic vehicles decide to enter into the community to avoid the high congested intersection. So that's one of the complaints, and also just to bring the traffic levels to manageable levels, so that that's more safer for the community. The results of that study shows both streets do experience a fairly significant volumes for a local residential street. The county's guideline is that if the volumes are more than 1,500, that's considered that your livability is compromised. So that's in terms of the volume. So you can see the volumes are much higher than that. And then the speeds, right now we are seeing is about 30 or higher. What we are, this study is ongoing, and this need to be submitted to the county for the determination and their input. If the speeds are lower to 25 miles per hour, then these speeds at the current level will exceed the speed criteria for the livability requirement as well. So there's additional justification to consider traffic calming measures. Okay, I think that concludes our presentation, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I don't know if we're going to have any questions as to, well, I'm asking a question. You can pass this back to the mayor. What our next step is, it's been, bottom line is, it's been recommended, and we've requested, a lot of the citizens have requested, that the residential streets owned by the city be reduced to 25 miles an hour. This is something that I have heard since I've been in office and before. The speeding in front of the houses. Everybody wants speed bumps, which is not really the answer, or not. You just can't do it. It's very expensive, and the fire department will not allow it. Keystone Point had speed bumps put in several years ago. They are not really calming devices. They're virtual. They're not bumps. The residents who live on Keystone Boulevard and North Bay Shore actually signed a petition amongst themselves, having nothing to do with me, and gave it to the city to ask for traffic calming devices. It was then determined, actually about a year and a half ago, they were about to go in. One resident objected, and the county demanded a full blown out traffic study, which is one of the reasons for this. I'm not sure, again, do we take any vote, or are we just going ahead and limiting the speed limits tonight, or are we going further with studies? I'm thrilled. We just got more. We're getting letters as this comes in. We got a letter today that the county is going to allow the reduction of the speed on 123rd Street from the Broad Causeway to Biscayne Boulevard from 35 to 30 miles an hour. I think since they took down the toll booth, there's been about 4 really big wrecks of people coming off the boulevard in front of the townhouses. Trying to cross there is impossible, and of course we need the law enforcement to help us with that, but at least we're telling the people this is not a speed zone. Go down to 30. I'm really surprised, since we're trying to do downtown development, change traffic patterns in our city, why we have a 35 mile an hour speed limit through our downtown and in front of our elementary school. So they have not given us that authority to lower the speed limits from Biscayne to I-95. I understand the police department would still like that to happen, and I would like to pursue that. So beyond that, I don't know what our next step is this evening.
And Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
And Council and Keys, we already vote on that to reduce the speed limit from 30 to 25. And that's why the money was allocated to do a study in order to be presented to the county for approval. Now the next step is the approval of the county, but we already passed that resolution here already.
Yeah.
So this is just a courtesy FY, just
well, we needed
update.
Through the mayor, we needed a study to actually verify the traffic counts and on our local streets to actually put up the signage. The signage reduction per this study, which warrants a reduction in the speed from 30 to 25. Keep in mind that there is a cost attached to this. In implementing this study, it's going to cost about $20,000 because this is an approximate cost from our transportation planner that we are going to be responsible for the installation of all the signs and also enforcement of the speed. Enforcement is presently done by our police department, but the installation and maintenance of the signage along these streets with the speed reduction would be adopted and must be maintained by the city.
Did you say there's going to be more study?
No.
Did
the
you
phase
mention
two, the phase 2 of the study as requested is an additional area. If you look at the report that we got, there's an additional amount of data that is requested to complete the study on the west side. Some of the information is not complete, but the areas that are shown on the map, those areas we can implement the 25 miles an hour speed limit on the streets, on our streets.
After the approval of the county, right?
Yeah, I have the email here approving.
Oh, they already approved it?
Yes, I got the email last night.
Oh, okay, okay. That's mean the next step is to find the money to.
The next step
since we
is-
already passed the
that's correct.
resolution and the county already approved it. Now all we need is the money.
As outlined in the study, and based on the county's report approval, the next step is to start implementing or change out of the signage.
What about Griffin Boulevard? Do you have any update?
Griffin Boulevard is part of the area that this speed reduction would be done as well.
And from the authorization that we have, we can lower the speed on Griffin as of right now?
As of right now.
Okay.
And what is the subtotal of what it's going to cost again for phase 2?
Phase 2, we don't have a numbers yet, Mr. Mayor, but the signage only in implementing the change of speed or the speed signs, the speed limit signs, is roughly about $20,000.
Oh, that's some change.
No, we're looking at getting it from our transportation or from our half-cent sales, transportation surtax, sorry.
That's mean officially you said as of right now, if we have the money, we can change and the sign on Griffin Boulevard and reduce
Commence,
the speed
yes,
from
commence
30
changing
to
the signs.
25.
Yes,
But it's still gonna remain a county ward as of right now.
as of right now.
Okay.
One last question.
Go ahead.
What do we have to go further to get the traffic calming devices on Keystone Boulevard and North Bay Shore? Is that enough? That's not a study. I read something in something we received today that we have to get the residents to approve, 2/3 of the residents, or is that?
Yes, actually, that's part of any traffic calming device, the neighborhood surrounding that area, if it's a traffic calming circle, you must get a certain number of signatures, which is 2/3 of the signatures in the abutting areas for approval. And this is one of the criteria that the county has for implementation of traffic calming devices.
And how do we do that? Do we?
Our planning department, transportation planner actually go out and do those studies. John O'Brien actually does that.
Okay, thank you.
Another question, and when it comes to bumps, the area that on the map, that's mean it's been approved that with
Some of those, that's correct.
bumps on.
If you
on
look
those
at the,
streets.
right,
yeah.
they talk about table 3 and table 2, the areas, the ones that have approved in the tables, those are the areas that we could implement these.
In the same area where we can reduce the speed limit.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ravi. Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll proceed with the city events with Ms. Solomon.
Good evening, everyone. Of course, we are in springtime here in North Miami, and there are several events that we are hosting throughout the month of April into the month of May. Tomorrow evening, right here in the council chambers, we have another orientation meeting that the North Miami Public Library is hosting that is part of the StoryCorps at Your Library project. And to our college students in the room, This is a great project to be involved in, especially if you're journalism and communication students, because it is an oral history project. We need volunteers to be facilitators for the one-on-one interviews that are part of the StoryCorps mission. StoryCorps, if you're not familiar with it, captures one-on-one interviews, and they are archived at the American Folklife Center in the Library of Congress. And they are also aired on NPR's Morning Edition on National Public Radio. So this is a great opportunity to archive the North Miami history and be a part of this project. It will start May 1st and go on until October 1st, so it's through the summer. Volunteers are needed to be facilitators and interviewers throughout the summer and the duration of the project. The orientation meeting will take place here tomorrow evening from 5 to 7 p.m. And if you're not able to make the meeting, it's not a problem. Just contact the North Miami Public Library directly at 305-891-5535 to find out how you can get involved in the StoryCorps project. On Thursday, April 16th, that's this Thursday, the Suncrest Grove Neighborhood Association is hosting a Meet the Candidates night for District 4 candidates. As you know, Election Day here in North Miami is May 12th. So make sure you mark that date on your calendar. Early voting will begin at the North Miami Public Library on April 27th. And more information is found at northmiamifl.gov/vote. This Thursday, April 16th at 6:30 p.m., Suncrest Grove Neighborhood Association is hosting a Meet the Candidates night for District 4 as part of their usual monthly meetings. So if you're interested in coming out, it'll take place at the Suncrest Grove Community Center that's located at 12500 Northwest 13th Avenue. This Saturday, the North Miami Police Department, in partnership with the Children's Trust, will host our annual Family and Community Together Festival. It's also called the FACT Festival. It is at Cagney Park, which is located at 13498 Northeast 8th Avenue from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. And this is a family fun activity that provides serious educational topics in a fun way. It's an opportunity to come out and meet those that serve and protect our community in a positive manner, and also learn about gang awareness, 911, proper use of the 911 system, and a whole host of topics. We have a list of social service agencies that are there. So basically, if you're raising a family in the north area of Miami-Dade County, this is the place to be. We also have entertainment throughout the day, food giveaways, raffle prizes. So come out to the FACT Festival this Saturday, April 18th, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. On Friday, April 24th, the City of North Miami is participating in the Recycling Energy Forum. That's taking place at FIU Biscayne Bay campus at the Covens Conference Center. This is an expo that will feature sustainable alternative energy, clean technology, recycling, those type of industries. And it is open to the public. It's an expo and an education forum throughout the day. They will have educational sessions from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. The expo hall will be open during that time as well. For more information, we invite you to log on to recyclingenergyforum.com. And the City of North Miami, once again, will be participating in that forum. On Saturday, April 25th, we have our annual Clean Up North Miami event as part of Earth Day. We always do it on Earth Day week, the week of Earth Day. And this year we are having 2 registration sites. One will take place at the Enchanted Forest Elaine Gordon Park at 8 a.m. That's located at 1725 Northeast 135th Street. And we also have a registration site at the Joe Celestine Center, 1525 Northwest 135th Street. And we invite students to come out to this event, families to come out to the event. Students will earn double community service hours by participating. It's an opportunity to clean up and do some gardening in our community gardens and throughout our parks. The program is made possible by Keep North Miami Beautiful with support from our Keep America Beautiful and the Florida Department of Transportation. And for more information on any of our upcoming events, you can always log on to northmiamifl.gov/celebrate. Also, a quick announcement, the City of North Miami has posted an idea on the Public Space Challenge, which is funded by the Miami Foundation. It's a grant, and the idea that we have posted is the Dixie Green Trail and Butterfly Garden. It's basically to increase green space and park space in a dead-end segment of West Dixie Highway. You can log on to our website and have the link to vote on the Public Space Challenge for the City of North Miami's idea, or you can also visit the Public Space Challenge site at ideas.ourmiami.org, and you can see the list of ideas. You can submit your own idea as well, and the Miami Foundation funds ideas annually to make those ideas a reality. Quickly, there are a few scholarship opportunities for high school students as well as college students. So our students in the room, take note. We have all of our opportunities available on northmiamifl.gov, and the North Miami Police Department is hosting their scholarship. The application for the Fallen Heroes Scholarship is available on our website, and the deadline to apply is this Friday, April 17th. The North Miami Educational Foundation has a scholarship for college students. The deadline is May 28th. This is an annual scholarship that is given to degree-seeking students. So you must be a graduate of high school in order to apply for this. If you're graduating this year, you're college bound, you can also apply. Once again, the deadline for that is May 28th. We also have lifeguard training program through our Parks and Recreation Department for ages 16 and over. If you go through that program, you will qualify to work with us as a lifeguard at our pool. And our YOB Summer Internship Program through the Youth Opportunity Board. Applications are available for ages 16 and over, high school students. Those applications are due April 20th, and you can be selected to work in the city of North Miami throughout the summer for a 10-week program. Once again, that's all for now. Visit northmiamifl.gov/celebrate for all of our event information. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Solomon. Is there any city project update? No? Okay, so we'll continue with the approval of the consent agenda.
May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion was made by Councilman Galvin, seconded by Councilman Bieneme. Anyone who wishes to record a nay? Item passes 5-0. Tab E. 1 second.
Yeah. Instead of one.
Tab E. Tab E.
I'm just getting the clarifications for tab E. This is it as is. Okay. Okay. This is bigger though. My eyes are not.
Go ahead.
Read mine. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Tab E. Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the allocation of $700,000 towards capital improvements, roadway improvements, street lighting, landscaping, home improvements, and home beautification projects citywide as follows: $100,000 for District 2, $100,000 for District 4, and the remaining $500,000 to be allocated for the mayor. It adds on. For the mayor to implement capital improvements and other projects as determined by the city manager, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. That is tab E. Thank you.
Any staff presentation? Mr. Manager?
Yeah. At the request of the mayor and certain members of the council, I had several requests for sidewalk improvements, street lights, increasing the number of street lights in different areas of the city, streetscaping that is not budgeted, also some home improvement and beautification programs. In order to do that, we have to do a budget amendment and an allocation. And what this ordinance actually reads is to do that budget amendment and allocation of funding. This funding actually is the funding that from the original $17.5 million that was allocated from the Biscayne Landings allocation. There's a $1.2 million remainder. Out of that, this 700 comes from that amount.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
Why did you leave District 1 out of this?
You didn't ask.
I wasn't asked to ask. Why was District 1 left out of this?
District 1 had some allocations recently on sidewalks, and the need that was requested actually lies in District 4 and District 2.
District 3 got 1.5 million in the original allocation, so now District 4 is getting 100,000. District 2 is getting 100,000. The mayor's got 500,000. District 1 has a big, fat goose egg. Why was District 1 left out of this?
The capital improvement funds that we have allocated in the budget or that was originally approved, the 750,000, there's an allocation from that budget right now of $100,000 to do sidewalk improvements, and there's also a CRE approval of an additional 25,000 to do landscaping and streetscaping in your district, sorry.
So you're saying I've got $125,000, of which I'm unaware, but $125,000 out of an overall total, which includes this amount of how much?
You got an overall allocation of 125 both from the CRE and from the capital improvement funds.
Okay, so let's lump all that money together. Since we're going to say that I have this money,
Right.
we've got 1.5 million for District 3,
Sorry,
another
it's a,
700,000 under consideration tonight, which takes up to 2.3 million. The monies that you're referencing in total is how much?
The one that, sorry, if there's a correction, is 125 allocated for your district, which is District 3. Sorry, District 1,
Okay.
sorry. It's
We
125.
can go around and round and round and round on
Right.
this all night. District 1 is not included in tonight's item.
Sure.
That's not fair.
Okay.
You didn't bring this to me. You didn't ask me to have any input. This was somehow summarily divided up amongst other districts. I can understand if District 3 is not too upset because they've already got 1.5
Right.
million. My district tonight in this item gets 0. Fellow council members, that's not fair. If we're trying to spread money equitably across the city, District 1 should get as much as anybody else. I'm not asking you to get the fabulous 1.5 million that District 3 got, but tonight gets 0.
I can volunteer to forego 100,000 from my 400. But please do understand, as the mayor, I do not represent one city, so the 500 that would be allocated for me to spend would include all the 4 districts. So, and also understand that I came in the middle of a budget that was already in process, either being executed, and as you know, this is the first time I'm actually asking for any money because a lot of the constituents are coming to me. There are certain things that they would like to see. So, well, anyway, I just want to forego 100,000 to go to District 1.
We do an amendment to the resolution.
Well, the amendment that I have here is to remove $100,000 from the mayor's allocation and to place that $100,000 in for projects in District 1.
District 1, yes.
I got that right?
I'll second that motion.
No, the motion was made. I need a motion first.
Well, I made the motion.
Okay, motion was made by Mayor Smith. It was seconded by Councilman Galvin with the amendments. Anyone wishes to record a no?
How about a discussion and public hearing?
Just give him the money, Gal. just give him the money.
I think a discussion and public hearing is warranted, Mayor.
Do you want us to discuss
You
first?
want to
It's
take it
required.
from him?
Pardon me?
You want to take it from Scott?
No, I don't. No, I'm a little bit concerned. I sent in a letter when I found out there was going to be some allocations. I did write a letter that I would like to see the money going to brick and mortar, street improvements, signage, lighting. I know we've got some big lighting issues throughout my district, and I'm concerned what home beautification is a little bit too loose for me. So what is home beautification? This money came from Biscayne Landing, and the citizens paid a lot of money for this. They did a bond. They took 30 years to pay it, and this money belongs to the citizens. So if it's going back into the city for the public, I'm all in favor of that. Home beautification to me sounds like just giving checks out to different homes, cherry picking homes to fix them up. I really don't think that's fair to the rest of the citizens, so I would like some clarification as to what home beautification means.
Well, you said you want that's exactly what the money is being allocated for. The Biskin lending money where the land was actually being taken care of by the tax dollars from the citizens. And home beautifications, the homes are owned by citizens, and the citizens dwell in them. So if money is allocated, I'm not saying that my money would be allocated totally to home repairs and so forth, but most of the complaints that I've been, well, not complaints, requests that I've been getting from the constituents, I usually have to do with city lights, street escaping, and that they would like to see in their areas. And that includes also, as a matter of fact, the other day I was in district, it's in between district 2 and 3, I don't know which one it is. The complaint was a lot of youngsters would be coming to certain intersections, and they would rent those Ferraris, those expensive, sport cars, and they would just go in the intersection and make a rounds. And they just want some exactly the same issue that we've been discussing, either speed bumps or runabouts and so forth. And some of them have request walkways and those kind of things. And it's going back to the citizens pretty much, because the money is going to be spent within the city boundaries. So
I'm getting a lot of repercussion. People want their houses. Well, why can't I get money from my house because my neighbor got money, or on that side they got money? And I really would like to see it going for public, for everybody, not individuals in the city, because we all paid for Biscayne Landing, and I'd like to be very careful with this home beautification.
Mr. Mayor, can I say something?
Go ahead.
And when we're talking about home beautification, we need to understand, and the money goes directly to the citizen of the city, because every time you're going to pull a permit to a property, that's mean the value going to be increased. That's mean it's more taxes for the city. That's mean the money went straight back to the citizen. Not everybody can get the money because we have guidelines. And from what I understand for the home beautification, we are using the HUD guidelines.
The HUD guidelines.
That means if someone is making $1 million a year, and I don't think that person need the city money in order to do some improvement in the home. And I think we have some citizens in that city, and they're not fortunate enough, and they need help from the government. And that's why even the federal government introduced that program to help those people. And I think that's what we've been doing in the city. And when the mayor said $500,000 for home improvements, streetscape, and other beautification project in the city, just giving him some room in order to spend some money, because we have the need. The citizen is in need, and $800,000 was allocated for home beautification in my district, and we're going to cover about 80 properties, right? 80 homes.
Yeah,
but
approximately
when we're
80
looking
or
at the list,
Yeah.
over 200-300 people need help in the district, and all of them will be qualified under the HUD guideline. And I think by doing so, we are investing in the citizen. And on top of that, and that's money coming to the city, because those companies who are going to do those work, they're going to pull permit, and they're going to pay the city, and property value going to be increased.
Correct.
Is it correct?
That's correct. And one of the things I just like to share is that the housing stock in North Miami is a pretty old. When I say old, most of the houses in North Miami was either built in the 50s or early 60s. So it's an older housing stock that we're dealing with. And most of the guidelines in allocating the funding, there are restrictions. Restrictions based on the HUD guidelines and income-based restrictions as well. So.
Public hearing, I guess.
Public hearing is now open.
Good evening. Annie Montgomery, 2082 Laurel Lane. I have two objections to this, because it sounds to me that we are rewarding people for not taking care of their homes. Beautification. So we're going to go in and do beautification, rewarding them because they didn't maintain their homes. And there's no reason why somebody cannot cut the grass, do landscaping, paint their house. If they need money to paint a house, how much is it to paint a house? We're rewarding them for not maintaining their property. This is wrong. And it's our money. It's our money. So I'll give whatever anybody asks me, I'll give. But this whole city is handing out money, whether it's $10,000 or $5. Do we get that back? Is there some stipulation that this $10,000 will get paid back to us, that some of these people have received? I don't believe there is. Thank you.
Carol Prager, Northeast 135th Street. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Am I to understand that this program, we're instituting a program similar to HUD? Are we creating our own program and following the criteria of HUD, and that's how we're allocating our money? We're creating a program?
I think if you're referring to my district, I think yes, that's
no,
what
I
it
mean
is.
across the board with this item
Oh,
this
for
evening.
this.
No, but this evening. So in essence, what we're doing in our city is we're creating a program that's similar to HUD, using their guidelines to give out taxpayer money. Is that correct?
Now, the proposed resolution, if I can read it, it says to improve roadways, street lighting, landscaping, and other projects as deemed necessary by the city manager. So HUD has nothing to do with streetscape, does it?
No, actually it's just one item of work on the list that is outlined, which is the home beautification item. But all the other programs are brick and mortar projects. Sidewalks, streetscaping, landscaping, all these other programs are all brick and mortar projects, substantial sidewalk improvements throughout the city, streetscaping throughout the city as deemed necessary.
No. Mr. Prevotel?
Yes, good evening. William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. Happy Tax Eve to everyone. I didn't bring my hat or noisemaker either. I'm concerned about this. I very much appreciate the intention of this to beautify the city and to invest in our city. Very crucial, very important, very much needed. However, I've mentioned this a number of times publicly, the investment into private individuals' homes raises a number of questions. Let's go through some hypotheticals. You have 10 houses on a block. 9 of those people work hard, make an investment. They all have equal jobs. They all make a lot of effort to make their houses nice. 1 or 2 neglects to do that, says, I'll go off and party, whatever it might be, yet they make an application and they get rewarded for their neglect of that property, potentially. Another scenario, suppose that person then, or anybody else getting the grant, then gets this improvement to their property, sort of the city's dime, and then turns around, in a short period of time and profits from it by selling out. That's a consideration. And it does, as was pointed out, it does set up, once you see 1 or 2 people getting this, everybody starts to ask the question, well, where's mine? Even though there are guidelines, it really is difficult to say who actually is sort of affluent and capable of maintaining the house and who really is not. It's very hard to distinguish. It becomes very gray in that sense. So that also is a concern. I hope, on the other hand, that that money be made as low interest or possibly even no interest loans to these people. Therefore, the money could circulate on a regular basis. We could help more people over time. If they should sell the house, it becomes a lien on the property, so we can collect on that. So that's a safety for the city. In addition, if we didn't focus so much on the individual homes, I think we should focus our budgets on the common areas, on the landscaping, on the street lighting, on the sidewalks, the signage, and so on. We've said this before, we need to increase our parks and such. When we go into a neighborhood and see that there's less vegetation, and we go in there and to sort of supplement that, that will increase the value of that property, particular individual properties, and many of them. Thank you for your consideration.
Hi, I'm Laura Hill. I live at 13075 Griffin Boulevard. I wanted to speak on this because I live in an area that has received the injection money of these improvements, the beautification, the streetscaping, and it's made a huge difference. In my neighborhood, we're seeing sidewalks being put in, we're seeing new grass, we're seeing the property values going up. I've owned my house for about 4 years, and when I moved in, the medians were a mess. Keep in mind, when we're talking about going into neighborhoods and lifting them up, we just came out of a major, major recession where people lost their jobs, and largely people stopped investing into their homes because half the time they couldn't even keep their homes. So I disagree with some of the other commentators. I think that there are people in our community who would love to upgrade their homes, but they don't have the means to do it. And these programs aren't we're not going to be just throwing cash everywhere. We identify the people who need the assistance, and we're going to give them the assistance. And in my neighborhood, I have seen that work well. The money hasn't, the work hasn't started yet. I think there's contractors being lined up. But all of these differences have raised our property values significantly. And as a resident and homeowner in that area, I appreciate it. And I would like to encourage you to expand this program to other districts.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Robert Husted. I live at 1150 Northeast 123rd Street. And I listened with interest with everything that everybody has to say. And I will say this, pro and con for the beautification. I would love to see, you know, landscaped streets. I'd like to see bike lanes. I'd like to see improved lighting. My particular area is an area slated for improved lighting. It's needed. I am also an area where there are existing low-income property owners who also would probably benefit from a little bit of assistance. How that assistance is given out, I am not an expert, but I will say this. There are older people, elder people who cannot afford to repair their properties. They're on fixed incomes. They're sick people. And I am not going to begrudge people who are elderly, who are sick, who cannot afford to do what they need to do to help to keep their houses up. And in those instances, I would say yes. An indirect way of doing it would be to waive permit fees to put in driveways, let them give out interest-free loans where possible, and like I said, do it as a lien if the house sells in the future and gets a certain amount of money, that the city gets their money back. And that's just my thought. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Enoch Millian, 12620 Northeast 4th Avenue. I think I'm listening very careful. I don't think the city is rewarding someone to fix their homes. If you drive around 126, 135th Street, you see some homes really, they really need to be fixed. So therefore, I think I will encourage the city, keep doing a good job. And I think those people who are speaking about this, I think God need to give them a heart, a human heart. Because you know why? We do have a lot of people in the city need to repair their homes. So therefore, let's keep doing it and help them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. In public hearing is now closed.
No, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, sorry about that. Why did you wait so long?
Because Carol Keys called me at 6 o'clock and told me that this meeting was up, and the agenda that I picked up this morning had nothing to do with this.
Okay.
It had to do with pensions, so I wasn't going to be here.
Pensions.
Well, I didn't get this.
Good to see
So
you.
anyway, last time I was here, I said I wasn't going to talk to you guys. I'm going to talk to the people here. That's why I can't talk to the people, because the mic's not there. Okay, so let me say something about, because Aleem's got that button ready. I want to say something about.
Actually, he just gave you 8 hours and 9 minutes.
I want to say something about landscaping. Before you come and do my swale again for the 3rd time, I think that you people need to get involved with the county and put in a quote that doesn't say, well, you can do what you want in the swale, but you can't do what you want in the swale because it belongs to the county. Because in my swale, I'm between the bus line and Bryan Elementary, and when they get off the bus, they puke in front of in my swale. There's condoms in my swale. My neighbor throws all her food on my side of the property. And then I go over to Miami Shores and I see green and I see separations. And I can't do a thing except hide my garbage can behind my shed, and I have backyard pickup because we fight with garbage cans. Do I want to live in a city like this? You need to do something about what we can do in our swale, and especially if we're boxed together like I am. We have like 5 houses in one block where there's no division, and people want, I want your space, and that's my space. I'm tired of fighting over garbage cans. I'm tired of fighting over opening up 10th Avenue. I'm tired of fighting over no payback grants for people that are over 70, that have lived in their houses for over 40 years, and that have also are on disability. I only need 3 windows and 4 doors, and there should be no payback grants. And I'm also tired of my representative not helping my area. I can call her 100 times and speak to Scott, Mr. Galvin, more than that. And if you're going to do any kind of landscaping, you need to come on 12th Avenue and say what you're going to, if you want to throw your money away, put it in my house, but don't put it in the swale, because you're not doing the work that, you're not beautifying my neighborhood. I sit here and I see awards for a beautiful house and a beautiful yard, and I'm saying, a swale, and I'm saying, well, why does my yard have to look like, my swale have to look like a dump? I live in a ghetto.
Okay.
And look on the map and see where I'm at. It's a high density, high rental. You just have to find my little area, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Mayor.
All right.
Good afternoon. Oh, it is afternoon.
Evening.
Evening. I can never get, retired. Judy Brown, 1100 Northwest 128 Terrace. The only thing that I would like to, some clarification on this particular item is who's going to select the areas of improvement within the districts? Will that be done by a group of people, or will the citizen have some input on that? How will that be done? As far as the sidewalks and the green space and things like that.
Well, the sidewalks and the lighting are very easy. The sidewalks are normally replaced based on maintenance records, and you can see visible cracks, areas that have been uplifted by trees. Those are the ones that we're going to replace, immediately. Lighting, we have gotten a lot of complaints recently from not only one district, all the districts. On the east side, San Souci, Keystone, Center City, District 3, District 1. We have lots of complaints and lots of areas that have low lighting or no lighting at all. And we are working on those. We are sending in the request to FPNL. We have a list of work orders, well over 50 right now, that we are working with FPNL on. So those are we're setting up a criteria based on the complaints and based on the severity of the sidewalks. And, in terms of beautification, definitely I'll be talking to members of the district. What has happened in District 3, I think was good, was based on complaints and based on areas from the neighborhood, as one of the residents from District 3 just said. We did a lot of work on District 3 with roadways resurfacing, a little bit of drainage, a lot of traffic calming devices, and also we did a lot of curbing and street beautification. And that was all based on homeowners meeting that was attended and complaints from the neighborhood.
So you will be contacting?
Yes.
Okay.
It's going to be everybody. Everybody is going to be involved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is now closed. And
we have a motion made by, we have a motion and a second. The motion was made by Mayor Dr. Smith Joseph, and it was seconded by Scott Galvin. So we do have a motion and a second on the floor.
As amended.
As amended.
Any other discussion?
Anyone wishes to record a nay? Item passes 5-0. Tab F, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the ranking results of the evaluation committee and the selection of the Lou Minor General Contractor LLC, Solutions Capital Group Inc., M&A Builders LLC, and Law Construction Group Inc. as the highest 4 ranked firms for the provision of exterior home repair services for approximately 80 eligible single-family homes through the facade grant at an aggregate cost not to exceed $800,000 in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications of request for qualifications number 141415, single-family home beautification project, further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute agreements for the provision of stated services with the top 4 ranked firms to be evenly distributed among each at a cost not to exceed $200,000, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. And that is tab F.
Mr. Manager?
As requested by Councilman from District 3, of his $1.5 million allocation, $800,000 was set aside for the home beautification program. An RFP went out, and based on we had 23 contractors responding to the RFP. Of the 23, the top 4 were selected for an allocation of $200,000 each to do the home beautification and facade improvement project within District 3.